God parted the Red Sea with Moses in the Bible, and they crossed the Red Sea. Now that was dramatic, and people called it a miracle. That in itself is a miracle. But do you know that if you're traveling from Lagos to London, the plane literally crosses over the Red Sea? But we don't see that as a miracle again, because the Red Sea didn't open, literally part ways. But the principle is you can go from one place to another with ease. That's where most of us young people miss the switch. You start comparing your own life experience to someone's unique experience. What works for people everywhere across the globe are principles. Most of you have asked me, what are the lessons you've learned over the years, both in business, in life, with people? These are the 3 lessons I've learned so far, and these life lessons were paid with tears, sweat, and blood. This is just a trickle in the stream or ocean of life lessons I've learned. So I decided to make it 3 so that it will be easy for you to consume and you won't be overwhelmed after watching the video. All right. So the first lesson I've learned, one of the first life lessons that I learned is do not always assume. I also learned that assumption is the lowest form of knowledge. Now, most people assume a lot of things, both in business and in life. In life, you assume that because things are going smoothly for your parents, that things will also go smoothly for you. Therefore, you choose not to learn more about your parents' businesses. You choose not to learn more about the things that your parents are interested in. You choose not to learn about what your parents are doing to sustain the family, because you assume that the wealth will be there for a long period of time. When it comes to young people, you're handling your first ₦1 million, you're handling your first 3 billion naira, whatever. You assume that, okay, this money is going to be here. But then you forget that, as I always say here, there are seasons to things. In the Bible, there was a season of abundance and there was a season of lack, a season of famine. So the moment you assume that the way things are right now, probably you're having the best of life, you assume that because these things are this way, they would always be this way. Therefore, there's no need to plan ahead. All right. One of the assumptions I had that really hit me very hard was assuming that friends are always there for you. All right. There are some people, there's this period of my life where I was in the thickest of moments financially. So there are some people that I talk with, and I assumed that once I talk to these people and tell them, oh, this is what I'm going through, they would have like, send your account number and send the money. That was my assumption. And I assumed that because I knew I could do it for them if they asked, whenever they asked. That was a mistake. That was a big mistake. All right. So the truth is, friends are friends until it comes to money. All right. Your friends don't talk the same way when it actually comes to money. So you need to keep this in mind. And this doesn't mean you should disregard your friends, the ones that don't like talking about money. No, again, you need to be a student of life. All right. You could be interacting with someone, but behind your head, you know the kind of person this person is. All right. So you don't go begging the wrong person. You don't go asking the wrong person for the wrong thing. You should study your friends. All right. Not all friends are the same. Not all friends would gaslight you when it comes to probably money and everything. All right. But don't make that mistake I made of assuming that, oh, because of in my mind, of course, I know I can do something like this for this person. They should be able to do the same thing for me when I ask. That's a wrong assumption. Now, this cuts across a lot of places, but in order not to make this video so long, you should just get the theme, the message, which is assumption is the lowest form of knowledge. When it comes to business, most people assume that when I start running ads, everything is set. That's a very big mistake. You should always ask yourself questions. All right. Now, this is the solution to this problem, this challenge. Whenever you see yourself concluding immediately on something, you might be assuming. Catch yourself immediately and ask yourself, what are the bases of this conclusion? Is it what someone else told me, or is it what I have just cooked up in my head quickly and before I arrived at that conclusion? You ask yourself questions, all right, to, biting a bit to be sure that you are not assuming. In order not to assume also, of course, you carry out your research. You ask questions. If people are around you, don't assume that this is the way this person makes money. Oh, this is the way this person is. Ask questions, all right? Ask questions, and most people say if you ask questions, you look dumb, you look whatever. You only look dumb when you ask dumb questions. All right. But truly, if you genuinely don't know the answer to this, and it's not on Google, because there are some questions you guys ask that are on Google. So if the if the answer to that question is not on Google, it's not on ChatGPT, it's not on YouTube, then you're free to ask the question. Okay. But if these answers are to your questions are on these three places I mentioned, quickly go and carry out your research. Don't assume. There's a lot of information. There are a lot of platforms to carry out your research to arrive at logical conclusions. All right. So don't make that mistake. Assumption is the lowest form of knowledge. The second life lesson I learned is do not try to fit another person's life piece into your life puzzle. So we all have our own experiences. We all have our own unique life direction journey. The mistake I made was trying to fit other people's life piece. Imagine a puzzle. You know what a puzzle is? A puzzle is different pieces, like a jigsaw puzzle. A jigsaw puzzle, different pieces, all right? And all these pieces, when put together, create an image, a beautiful image or a picture. Now, imagine that picture as your purpose, as your journey. The mistake you make is thinking that the missing piece or the missing puzzle, the missing piece in your puzzle, the right piece, that missing piece is in another person's puzzle. It will never work that way. If you have two boxes of puzzle pieces and you try to pick one, different images, different pictures, and you try to pick from the left one to feel the right, you would never get the perfect image, the right picture. Let's do a little exercise, a little thought exercise. Imagine if, as everyone was born into this world, you were given a map of how you should go through life's journey. This is your own unique journey. Just as you came out of your mom's womb, your doctor just handed the map into your hand and you're going to hold that map. This would be a very good movie theme. You're going to hold that map, and as you journey through life, that map is what's guiding you. Now, probably when you were born, when that map was handed over to you, it was blank. But then imagine this. Imagine as you're growing up, 9 years old, 10 years old. Of course, you're free. You think, when we're young, that was when we have freedom. We had freedom of thought. You could think anything you want. Now you're drawing your map. I want to be a doctor. Okay, when you're 10 years old, you're like, nah, doctor, medicine kind of sucks. I want to be an astronaut. Okay, no, astronaut, it's kind of sucks. You're drawing this map. And then when you hit probably 12 years old, 13, 14, you're now exposed to the society. You now see people on social media. You now see your friends who are doing well. So this is what most of us do. We go to our friend's house and say, can I see your map, please? Your map led you to have this house. Can I see your map, please? And then you start drawing from scratch that person's map into your own map. At once, it will never work. All right? That person's map was drawn right from when they were small, right from when they were a kid. And you're trying to do everything. You're trying to get this person's experience at once in one sitting. No. But that's the torture most of us give ourselves. You go on social media, you see a lot of people. Now, I usually tell people these things. They are unique experiences and they are principles. The mistake most people make when they come online is you have a unique experience. Unique experiences happen to you. Only this thing happened to you. You were in the thick of your financial crisis, all right? And then God just spoke to someone and you prayed this night, and God spoke to someone this night. That person called you this night and sent you 3 million naira for you to now. And that money that was sent to you was what you used to start running ads or start up a business, and that business blew up. That's a unique experience. You won't come and start teaching people that this is the way life works when you're in the thick of things. Pray by 11 p.m. because that was the time I prayed. You pray by 11 p.m. Sit down on your bed in this position, all right? Make sure you do not eat. Make sure the last time you ate was 5 p.m. that day. You sit down in this position and then make your prayer. God will definitely touch someone's mind And make sure your phone is charged. Make sure your phone is charged so that when that person calls and asks for your account number, you'll be awake and your phone will be awake also to receive that call. That's a unique experience. Now, if someone goes to do it, it won't work for that person. All right. Now, it doesn't mean that God doesn't work that way. God works that way for you. That was your unique experience. So coming to teach other people that unique experience, that's where most of us young people miss the switch. You start comparing your own life experience to someone's unique experience. Unique experiences just work for one to five people maximum. What works for people everywhere across the globe are principles. And principles have been written down already. There are people who have studied and found out these principles. Hard work is a principle. All right. These are things that have been written down, tested across the globe, the universe, and gives the same results. Study money, study how money works, study how money circulates, the economy, everything, and you'll be rich. It's a principle. It's a principle. So that when you make money, you'll be able to maximize it, multiply it. It's a principle. It's not a unique experience. Okay? So instead, whenever the next time you're listening to someone that is giving you advice or anything, pause and listen. Now you could learn a lot from people's unique experiences. Unique experiences show you what is possible so that you don't limit what is not possible, or it just expands your horizon, your mind horizon of what can actually happen. All right. Now it could happen for you, but if it doesn't happen for you, don't now think that the mistake you make is, oh, this is the way things are supposed to happen. This is the way you make 3 million naira by getting a phone call at midnight. And then you now focus your whole energy on that. You forget that, oh, you can sell a product, you can render a service, you can do this, you just think that this is the only way. All right. So that's what unique experiences, that's the mistake unique experiences create. All right. You can learn a lot from unique experiences, but pause and make sure that you're not seeing it as the only method, the only way of achieving what you want to achieve. All right. So that's the mistake I made. I tried to fit other people's life pieces into my life puzzle. You have your life puzzle. You have your purpose. All right. Look, one thing I tell a lot of people is find your purpose. And finding your purpose is not this thing that, another unique experience mistake is most people found their purpose probably by praying and then they heard God's voice, or they were just strolling and, they saw something and it sparked and they had this aha moment. Most of them had near-death experiences and then they found their purpose. Now, when they come and start telling you these experiences, you think that, oh, the only way I can find my purpose is by praying day and night, fasting and everything, and God will speak to me. Or the only way I can find my purpose is when I stroll every evening and ask. And, those are unique experiences, all right? You could find your purpose in the weirdest way ever. Okay? So don't make that mistake. One thing you just need to understand is your purpose is supposed to achieve two things. Just two things. Your purpose is supposed to unlock gratitude and curiosity. If what you're doing is unlocking these two things, then you're doing well. Gratitude and curiosity in the society. What you're doing, are people grateful for it? Are people immensely grateful for it? And are some people also curious on how you're doing and on how you're doing it? Curiosity could be, how is he able to stay up this? How is he able to do this? How is he able to do that? And most of the times it's God or whatever you're doing. But then if what you're doing is able to unlock these two things, that's your purpose. All right. So don't fit other people's life pieces into your life puzzle. Social media is one hell of a place that makes this your first thoughts, not even second thoughts. The third life lesson I learned is, when it rains, it pours. And this is a little bit, I talked about it a little bit in the first lesson. Most people I learned this when I was in the thick of things, my financial, in when it came to my financial life. Most Have you ever noticed when one good thing happens in your life, other like three, four, five good things come back to back, and then people are like, "Oh wow, it's now God's blessings are upon your life." But has it ever happened to you? Just even though it's not something everybody saw, just you, only you were the one experiencing it. All right. The first good thing happened, you've been struggling with some things, and then one good thing happened, second one happened, the third one followed, the fourth one followed suit, fifth one followed suit. That's exactly what, when it rains, it pours. That's exactly what it means. When one good thing happens, more things follow. All right. But then, why is this a lesson? And what made me understand this lesson? When you grow up in tough times, or when you stay in tough times for a long time, it does something to your mind unconsciously. Most times you don't know. And what this does to your mind is you have an affinity. Human beings are always built for survival. All right. We are always built to adapt. So when you find yourself in tough times, your body, your brain, your mind adapts to those tough times. Now you know you're in tough times, but then when you complain during the beginning, the starting times, at some point you get used to it. Now, what my own person, the way it happened to me is, after, when I start coming out, when I start stepping out of this tough period, and good things, the first good thing happened, I was like, finally. The second one happened, I was like, oh, thank God. The third one, the fourth one, I started resisting it. I was like, okay, what is happening? I wasn't used to that environment. I wasn't used to looking at my bank account. You want something, you look at your bank account, you can afford it 3, 4, 5 times. And then you just feel like, okay, this is not the way I grew up, the way I grew up. I remember those days when I was in junior secondary, senior secondary. If I really wanted something, I would write it down. We're writing, doing the affirmation things, the visualizing. You write it down, you draw it, you put it by your bedside. That's how I got most of my things. You want something today, when you're getting this like 3, 4 months, 5 months, sometimes a year. Before I got my first phone, it took like, I started visualizing my phone from just one. I got my first phone, I think 6 years later. So when it got to that point where good things started happening to me, the season of abundance visited me, I resisted it because I was not used to it. I was like, okay, what if something bad happens? So what if life is setting this test for me, so that when I relax into this season of abundance, it snatches it away from me and I'm back to the trenches? Those were the thoughts that were going through my head. But then one thing you need to understand is, things would always go wrong. If you think things will not go wrong, then you're naive, because it's a principle. The seasons are a principle. There will always be a season of abundance in your life. There would always be a season of famine in your life, of lack in your life. So what you just need to do is, during the season of abundance, you plan, you settle in, and then start planning for the season of lack. Now, your rich people, your rich moguls, business moguls, they experience this thing. It's just that they experience it on a different level. Now, you that's earning 50,000 naira per month, your whole season of lack could meet you with an empty bank account, like literally an empty bank account. But a multi-millionaire, his own season of lack could just be, he's still with like 300 million naira in his account. But then, instead of him making his normal 4 to 5 million, or let's say 10 million naira per month, he's now making 4 million naira per month. That could be his own season of lack. Do you understand? Because his expenses are no more matching his income. So when most people think of season of lack, they are expecting to see someone, a very rich person, now go down to being a pauper before they now shoot up to be. No, it differs. Nigerians, we like drama. We like drama. If a pastor doesn't jump jump up and down, roll around, speak in tongues before saying something, they won't believe it. If he just says it casually, they will not believe it. So most people, when they tell you things, you take it to the most dramatic extent, which is not. That's the way things worked in the olden days. It's not the way things work now. All right. Look out for the principles. Again, like I said at the beginning, look out for the principles. I'll give you an example. Now, God parted the Red Sea with Moses in the beginning, in Exodus, in the Bible, and they crossed the Red Sea. Now, that was dramatic, and people called it a miracle. That in itself is a miracle. But do you know that if you're traveling from Lagos to London, the plane literally crosses over the Red Sea? But we don't see that as a miracle again, because the Red Sea didn't open, literally part ways. All right. But the principle is you can go from one place to another right now with ease. That's the principle. That's the principle. All right. And God still does those kind of miracles today, but without the dramatic effect, because the drama was for the olden days. We've advanced. God could heal you. Like, you could sit down. Literally, it happened for me. I was feeling sick at some point, and I got tired of taking drugs. I was like, God, I need divine healing. Please heal me. And I got healed. Now, most of you think that healing comes with carrying yourself to the hospital and to the church, and your pastor rubs anointing oil on you, gives you something to drink and everything before you know. No, you don't need the drama. You don't need the drama. Okay, so those are the three lessons those are the three life lessons I've learned so far. There are a whole lot. So at some point, if you guys liked this video, if you want me to create more videos like these life lessons I've learned, tell me in the comment section and I will make more videos like this. All right. Most of you have been asking me, what's the best way to start up as a business owner if I don't know anything? I don't know Facebook ads, graphic design, copyright. I don't know video, nothing. All right. I had a 60 minutes live webinar with young business owners, and it was an amazing session. It was crazy. All right. I'll link the video in the description. Once you're done with this video, go and watch that video and take whatever action you need to take as fast as possible. Our mantra: like this video, subscribe, and then share this video to just 3 of your friends. Not more, no less. 3 of them, so that they benefit from what you've benefited today. And as always, where you are right now, it's not your final destination. I shall see you at the top. For now, lock in and represent.